Hello everyone, this is Tetrafolium, and I'm here to bring you ADV Revival 3 Round 8. This match here decides who is making bracket. Now, the loser will still get another chance to play in Round 9, but you clinch a bracket spot with 7 wins in the tournament, and a nice 7-1 record for play-ins, or I guess I should say, pools. To our left is Triangles, who is probably one of the more well-recognized players in ADV, the winner of Callus Invitational 3, as well as a frequent top performer in many such tournaments, such as Invitational, etc. So I'm very excited to see him playing. I also steal a lot of teams from him, but nobody tell him that. To our right is WraxiusGaming, who I don't know as much about as far as their tournament accolades, but I do know that they are a very common member in the Discord and Smogon communities, so this should hopefully be a really good match, and we will get right into it right now. Lead Cloyster versus Lead Medicham, two Pokemon that you do not see very commonly, a little bit underloved, so nice to see them both here. Brick Break doing a lot to Cloyster, but not quite enough. This Medicham does not have leftovers, but based on the damage, I'm guessing that it's either a Pinch Berry or a Lum Berry. Celebi is going to come in and Calm Mind up against the HP Ice Zapdos, but that's not going to do enough to really threaten the Celebi. We're going to see a Baton Pass to Medicham against the Tyranitar, so I'm not anticipating that this Medicham is making much use of its special attack, but Raxius maybe doesn't have a better counter to Tyranitar, so they're just going to take the opportunity to get their Medicham in against this Tyranitar to force the switch. Now, Medicham could make some use of that special defense. Very nice Rock Slide, by the way. But at this stage, at 41% HP, I doubt that it would survive a Thunderbolt. It does not. And we're going to come back into Celebi. Probably going to decide to Calm Mind. I wonder if Roar was on the table for Triangles, or if Triangles even has Roar. But now going to Baton Pass to Metagross, who is quite good at switching into an HP Bug. Metagross could make some use of the special attack if it's mixed, but it is not mixed. It's, in fact, Agility. Threatening to mash and do a lot of damage. Triangles is going to sack the Cloyster. It doesn't even get any spikes down. That's not great, but this allows for a Metagross entry of his own. Raxius booms, and Charizard revenges, except it doesn't because it misses Fire Blast. Now, that explosion comes down, and this game is looking a little bit more so in Triangle's favor. Double Electrics for Triangles. So this is some, I think I've seen this type of squad before, with double Electrics, Gengar, and Cloyster. It seems like it would be pretty strong as a special offense type of team. Raxius' team I'm not so sure about. I have not seen anything quite like that with Lead Medi and CM Pass. But now we've got Gengar with Fire Punch into the Celebi. Celebi's simply going to Baton Pass out. It's not very easy for Celebi to fit all the moves it needs to on a CM Pass. Well, because those two moves take up 2. Then you might want Psychic, you might want HP Fire, you might want a Grass move. And you can't have all 3. So, yeah. We have 2 electric types facing down a last Mon Suicune situation. I'm not loving Raxius' chances here. Thunderbolt has a role maybe to kill. Doesn't quite get there, but Suicune's going to rest. And unless this is a Sleep Talk Suicune, there's just no way for Raxius to wake the Suicune back up and do anything. And yeah, well, there you go. It's as simple as that. Even if it was a Sleep Talk Suicune, it would need a lot of really good Sleep Talk rolls in order to weather the storm against a decently healthy Jolteon and a, well, okay, not very healthy Zapdos, but you get the picture that Electric is good in Suicune. Alright, and just like that, we're on to game 2, but before we begin, I would like to recommend to you that you like and subscribe to this channel, and please donate if you can. I put my money where my mouth is and ponied up to this tournament, and you know, if you've got the means to do so, come join me. But if you don't, that's fine as well. Watching is plenty support. Tyranitar versus Tyranitar. Let's see if they both Focus Punch. No. In fact, one substitutes, though. So we'll probably be seeing a Focus Punch right here. And yes, we do. This shiny Swampert with the... I don't know if I like this shade of pink, but it is going to roar out the Tyranitar. Sub-Focus Punch is one of 2 Tyranitar sets. Either Boatar, which usually carries either Thunder or Fire Blast and Crunch as the other 2 moves, or Viltar, which would carry Rock Slide and HP Bug as the other 2 moves. Triangles has Focus Punch on his own Tyranitar, but that's probably a BKC-tar, which is the 4 attack set. So we're getting a lot of Tyranitar knowledge in this set. A defensive Starmie, clicking Thunder Wave into Celebi, who's going to take that quite well. And pivots to Skarmory. Takes a Thunderbolt for the price of a Spike. We'll have to see if that's worth it. With Starmie revealed, there is a spinner for Triangle's side, we know. Oh, but Wraxius has a spin blocker in Gengar. Going to see a switch to the last mon for Triangles, which is a Blissey. So this is a pretty bulky team from Triangles, probably more on the like Skarm Bliss balanced side, with Jirachi as the main win condition. Wraxius seems like they're running a little bit more of an offensive team. This last Pokemon is probably something that flies, considering that you don't really want to have a spinner to fit the pace of this team. So I'm going to guess either Aerodactyl or maybe Moltres or maybe Zapdos. I'm not sure. Wraxius is going to rip a Focus Punch right away and hit the Jirachi, which is going to threaten it. Well, I mean, Jirachi takes that Focus Punch pretty well. Tyranitar is going to get behind his substitute and just start firing off. Oh, it gets a critical hit. Okay. That could have been a little bit dicey for Wraxius if that crit did not happen. But two Focus Punches is outpacing the Wish healing, so maybe you eventually 1v1. I'm not sure exactly where that would have went had there not been a crit. I would have been interested to see that play out, but as it stands, I don't see a super strong win condition on Triangle's team anymore. So I think Wraxius can kind of just trade down until they win the game with whatever offensive pieces that they have remaining. A Spike coming down as Triangles will go for a Thief, which puts the opposing Skarmory on a little bit of a, not necessarily a timer, it puts a little bit of pressure though. Damage is going to stick. It's kind of interesting, Taunt Skarm into Thief Skarm. We don't see that every day. But yeah, Wraxius is going to just trade down on the Skarmory, get 3 layers of spikes up. Probably feels pretty confident that they can navigate the spin blocking that they need to stop that Starmie from being able to do much to the Gengar. And it does happen to be a Moltres last. Okay, I would have bet on Aerodactyl, but thankfully I didn't have to place that. But Moltres is going to look really good into the Blissey double water and Skarmory last here, especially if you keep getting these roar clicks right on the Blissey. Now I'm going to go to Celebi, as this Starmie for Triangles is going to fire off a Surf, trying to get some damage on Moltres. I don't believe that Surf would kill the Moltres outright, but yeah. Wow, Triangle stayed in to take that Giga Drain. I assume predicting that the Celebi would go for a Hidden Power Fire, trying to catch the Skarmory switch. And Moltres is going to land a Will-O-Wisp into Tyranitar, which is probably the worst possible thing that could get burned. Although Blissey would not have been a fantastic alternative, considering that it would probably die to a follow-up fire move from Moltres after the burn. And Triangles is just going to forfeit the game. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of threats on Wraxius's team that could kind of clean up from here. This Tyranitar chiefly among them, especially with the weakened Swampert, 3 layers of spikes. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty reasonable forfeit, I think. Let's see what happens in Game 3. All right, it's Game 3. Winner is clinched to get into the top cut of Revival 3. The loser will have to play another round. So, not too much pressure, but very much is on the line still. I guess I have a little bit of a question before we go. Do you tend to root for the person who's on the left when you're watching these videos? I have a tendency to do that as well, if that is the case for you. But if that's not the case for you, then let me know. Another Medicham lead, but we have a Salamence instead. Salamence is one of the toughest leads for Medicham to navigate because it gets that Intimidate off, and then if it is a physical Mence with HP flying, then you're threatening to get a one-shot kill in some cases. But we see Substitute with a Baton Pass to Snorlax, who could potentially be walled by the Skarmory here, but is actually going to reveal Focus Punch. Now, this is kind of awkward for Triangles. If this is a Drill Peck Skarm, usually you have a little bit of counterplay against a Focus Punch Lax because you can hit the Lax to stop it from getting the Focus Punch off. But while it's in front of a sub, or behind a sub, I should say, you're obviously not able to do that. So we have to get the Roar for Triangles there, and your Skarmory down to 40%, not great. Gonna sack the Skarmory, maybe trying to get it in on a predicted Shadow Ball, but that's rough. Wow. Medicham, sometimes it can just be devastating in the early game. So Wraxius's Zapdos is going to T-Bolt into this Zapdos for Triangles, which is pretty obviously a Spadef Rest Zap. It has Sleep Talk with probably last move Roar. Otherwise, I don't see why you would be going for it so much there. Yes, alright. And gets a Salamence revealed. Okay, so Wraxius is definitely playing offense. I mean, that's pretty obvious with a Medicham lead, but no doubt about it anymore. Shadow Ball trying to catch the Gengar switching in, but Triangles is going to stay in and gets a little bit of chip with the Blissey. That might end up mattering. Oh, wow. Okay. So that Shadow Ball didn't do all that much. And this Salamence has not revealed an item, so I'm guessing that might be a Choice Band Mence, but I thought it would take a little bit more from the Snorlax. Maybe my head count's just wrong. And we reveal another Dragon type. Double Dragon is not a very common thing in ADV, but I mean, if you're going to have two, you might as well have Flygon, I guess. And it's going to be defensive Flygon with a nice sequence there to Toxic the Spinner and get the Spin Blocker. And oh, that critical hit matters a lot. I'm sure that Triangles' Gengar would have lived that had it not been a critical hit. And then if you could fire off a Thunderbolt, you can keep the spike up for the rest of the game, which could be really nice. Oh, that crit probably didn't matter, but really good call out by Wraxius to get that on the Mence. That was one of the most offensively threatening Pokemon left on the team. And yeah, behind a substitute, there's not much Triangles can do. Focus Punch is very free there. Going for Protect, trying to get a little bit of chip healing, and switches to Zapdos. Is that the idea? I don't think Zapdos is faster than this Flygon, or sorry, this Medicham. Triangles is calling the GG. I assume that means that Triangles does not really have a way to handle the Medi. Yeah. I wonder why he switched to Zapdos the first time. Maybe hoping for a switch. Oh wow, Salic Medi. Gets a Focus Punch. I mean, the Salic is not going to matter, obviously. It outspent the whole world there. Doesn't get the kill with Brick Break on Blissey, but it's kind of a formality at this point. Metagross can click virtually any move and win. It's going to click Explosion, so we go out with a bang in round 8 here. So congratulations to Wraxius. Very well navigated to find yourself into bracket, so that's awesome. Triangles, my heart goes out to you. That was some really tough luck. I'm not sure how much of it mattered. I kind of liked Wraxius's matchups, at least in the last 2 games. But obviously it really sucks to get crit and lose one of your key pieces, and then you don't really have that much opportunity to counterplay. But Triangles is a great player. Regardless of what happens, that's never in doubt. Thank you all for watching, and thank you to both of these gamers for playing such a exciting set.